Hello guys, so I'll be showing us how to take body measurements when drafting a basic bodice pattern using the side or bust dart technique. I'll be using my miniature dress form to demonstrate this. When drafting a basic bodice pattern, the first thing I want us to know is that there are various ways to draft a basic bodice pattern. For instance, the method demonstrated in Winifred Aldrich's book is different from that of Natalie Bray. Likewise is that of Ellen Joseph Armstrong. And there are other several textbooks on fashion design that shows us how to draft the basic bodice pattern, but their methods differ from one another. On my channel, I have 2 other tutorials on how to draft a basic bodice pattern. If you'd like to check them out, I will attach their links in the description box below. So I will be showing us how to take measurements for the basic bodice pattern using the side or bust dart technique. This method was derived from the draping method on the dress form. This technique assumes that the front length and the back length of most women are not the same, and this is because of the presence of the bust. So the front length is usually longer than the back length. So to measure the front and back lengths of a woman, the first thing we need to know is their true waistline. We need to determine their true waistline. And how do we do this? Most times, the true waistline is usually 2 inches above the navel. But in some cases, this may not be the case. So what we need to do is that we ask the client or the woman we intend to make the dress for to tilt towards the side. And that part that goes inwards, that part is the true waistline of that woman. So we should tie a rope or an extra tape rule around that tiniest part of their waist. So after doing this, on my dress form, this has already been done by the manufacturer. So I don't need to tie any rope around the waist of this dress form again. So what I intend to do now is to measure my front length. So to measure my front length, what I will do is to measure it from the nape. This is the nape. This is the nape. So I measure from the nape down to where we tied the rope. From the nape down to this point, to the top of the tape rule and not underneath it, to the top, like this. Whatever value we get is the front length. After doing this, we now move to the back. We also take our measurement from the nape down to the rope that we tied, and in this case it's 7 inches, whereas the front length is 7.5 inches. So on this my miniature dress form, the difference between the front and back length is ½ an inch. In most cases, the difference between the front and back length is usually between 0.5 inch to 4 inches. It depends on how busty the woman is. But on the average, the difference between the front and back length is usually around 2 inches. So after measuring the front and back length, the next thing we need to do is to measure the nape to the bust. Nape to the bust point. We measure from the nape. This is the nape. From the nape to the bust point. On my dress form, it is 5 inches. Then we need to measure the nape to the navel. The nape to the navel. There is no navel on this dress form, so it's difficult to determine where the navel is. But you need to measure the nape to the navel. Then you need to measure the bust span. The bust span is also known as the nipple to nipple measurement. Measure the nipple to nipple measurement. In this case, it is 3 inches. So after doing this, the next measurement we need to take is the measurement around the fullest part of the bust. On my dress form, it is 16.5 inches. Then we also need to measure the shoulder to shoulder measurement. Shoulder to shoulder. From one point of the shoulder to the other. On this dress form, it is around 9 inches. Then we need to measure the waist. Measure the waist where you around where you tie the rope or the extra tape rule. Measure around the waist. You should also measure around the hips. On this dress form, it is 18 inches. Around the fullest part of the hips, it is 18 inches on this dress form. You may also need to take the measurement from the part that you tied, the tiniest part of the waist, down to the hips. For most full-grown women, it's usually around 7 to 9 inches. And after doing this, you need to take the chest, the chest measurements, and also the back width measurement. To take the back width measurement, what is usually done is that from the center back here, you go down by around 5 inches or 4.5 inches. Then you now take the measurement of the back width. So I think that's all. Those are all the measurements that we need to take to draft the basic bodice pattern. However, when you want to modify the basic bodice pattern into a corset, to a tube, into a bustier, you need to take from your nape to the under bust measurement, and also at the under bust you need to take the measurement around the under bust too. You need to take that measurement. You also need to take the measurement from your nape to the upper part of your bust, above your bust. So that's it. Thanks for watching.